Hey guys, this is Goku, and today we're gonna be talking about how to play on the turn. We'll discuss the most important factors that you have to take into account when making your decision there. So, let's get right into it. Okay, so you're on the turn. What factors should you consider when making your decision here? Strength of your hand. Do you have a made hand or do you have a draw? How strong is your hand relative to the board? If you have a top pair and there are already straights and flushes possible on the board, then your hand isn't strong. On the other hand, if the board is very dry, your top pair is strong and might be the best hand. If you have a draw, is it a strong draw with many outs, like a flush draw with overcards, or a weak one, like a gut shot with 4 outs? The number of people in the hand. Obviously, the more people there are in the hand, the more careful you should be. Ideally, you'd want to be heads up, because with every additional player, the probability that they have you beat increases and your chances of winning with a bluff decrease greatly. The action pre-flop and on the flop. If there were fireworks like 3 bets and 4 bets pre-flop and or on the flop, you can greatly narrow down your opponent's ranges. On the other hand, if the action went very slow and everyone checked the flop, you may assume nobody is particularly strong. The size of the pot. It's connected with the previous point. The bigger the pot is, the stronger you need your hand to be. You don't want to build big pots with marginal hands. You only want to be involved in big pots with your very strong hands. So if you called the flop with a medium strength draw and missed, and now you don't have good enough pot odds to call your opponent's bet, you should just fold. How much money you and your opponents have behind and what kind of players they are. If your opponent only has a pot-sized bet left in his stack, he's not folding, therefore you should not try to bluff him. On the other hand, if you're both very deep, you may justify calling with a weak draw because of implied odds. Also, when you have reasons to believe your opponent isn't a very good player, you will want to get involved in pots against him with much weaker hands than usual. So once you have analyzed all these factors, your decision should get much easier. Don't worry, with experience you'll be able to do that in a blink of an eye. One last thing I want to talk about is that at this point in the hand, you should have a plan for what you're going to do on the river. And you have to go through every possible scenario too. What you're gonna do when the river is a blank, and what you're gonna do when it completes the draws. What if your opponent checks to you, and what if he bets? The turn is when the hand starts to get exciting, so your decision making has to be on point. You don't want to get to the river with a marginal hand, having no clue where you're at, and with the pot being already too big. So we've talked about the play on the turn, and now you know that there are a couple of factors that you should consider before making your decision. The strength of your hand, the number of players in the hand, the action pre-flop and on the flop, the size of the pot, how much money you and your opponents have behind, and what kind of players your opponents are. So once you analyze all these factors, you should think about possible reverse scenarios. It's good to come up with a plan for whatever is going to happen. Always be prepared. Thank you so much for watching, and congratulations! You are now one step closer to becoming an awesome poker player. If you enjoyed this lesson, please share it with your friends, click the like button and subscribe for more future videos. You should know that it is very important that you put the knowledge you have acquired into practice. This course will teach you all you need to know in order to beat the small stakes games, but you gotta practice. You have to get comfortable playing poker. You have to learn these fundamentals by heart. I cannot stress this enough. You will only get better if you practice. Even 15 minutes a day will do wonders for your game in the long term. So, have fun playing, and I wish you all good luck. See you in the next lesson.